Hey everyone, it is me, Pat Bernard, aka the Gobbler, and I am with you for the entire hour, filling in for Goss, filling in for Austin and only the attack in third. I'm pumped up. I'm excited to be here. It's been a little while since I've been on this show. Guys, just like I said, huge week for Union Soccer. Huge week. Um, because everything has been trending good for the Union, and now I don't know what happened Saturday night in Atlanta. However, I noticed lackluster soccer. I haven't seen this soccer since the beginning of June, and here we are with lackluster soccer yet again from this Union team. This didn't look like a top Eastern team. This didn't look like the number one seeded team in the Union. This didn't. It looked sloppy. Horrible. Um, it looked like a team with fatigue. Really, nothing aggressive. You had Andre Blake yelling at the team. They weren't responding to him. This was a very ugly Union team. Ugly. I expected better than this. This is what I've gotten back in early June. Horrible, man. Horrible Union soccer team. This was this past weekend. Like I said, you can't be playing like this. Again, you cannot be playing like this. Like I said, I was listening to Austin and Gus. They're all for the supporter shield. That crap doesn't mean nothing to me. Why? Because it tells you you're the best team in the league. The playoffs, it's what matters. Who cares if you're the number one team in the regular season? Yippee, yippee. What do you get? A Pokemon card, a Batman cookie? What do you get for that? What do you get? Do you get a $20 gift certificate to Texas Roadhouse? I mean, what do you get for winning the supporter shield? I don't know, but what does matter to me is the playoffs and if this team can show up or not. Because if this team can't show up and they play like they played on Saturday, sloppy, tired, not aggressive, you have your. eh, Luckily, you have a great, you know, you have a great Andre Blake goaltender. Thank God you have that because you cannot be playing like this. You can't. It's frustrating to be playing sloppy soccer. And that's what it was. That's what you got. Sloppy soccer. How do you gave you 60 minutes of, your calls and penalties, and look, I got to give Atlanta their due. They were playing great defense in their defensive zone, keeping the Union away from their net. So, but again, this was an ugly game, boring. So again, this is I try and get a lot of my friends who are not your everyday soccer fans. I try and get them involved on this team and playing like this. This is horrible. You have Gaza who is third in the league with 19 goals. You have Wagner with 15 assists. What's the issue here? What was the issue on Saturday? You can't be laying eggs like this. Now, granted, if it was like a 1-1 or 2-2, I would be okay. But and granted, it was still a tie. So again, am I twisting my nipples for nothing? Probably. Am I getting angry and frustrated for nothing? I get it. It's going to happen. You're not going to win them all. I get all that. But this is a bottom feeder team. This is what you've been having your issues with this year, or bottom feeder teams. You've had problems with the Atlantas of the world. You had problems with the international Miami. You had problems with these, the Portlands and all this stuff. You had your problems there. You know what I mean? You got to be playing better than this. And Sarri was terrible. Sarri was terrible. Uh, oh, my man also says yes. He's gonna get ready to hop on in about a minute. Thank you, Austin. Now Austin can give you a better breakdown than I can because he's a Union faithful. He watches every play. But like I said, to me, this to me right here, and I'm watching the game as it progresses. Like I said, I've done a bunch of film work on it, and I'm trying to figure out where did we go wrong. Where in the world did this team go wrong? I don't know, but you can't be playing like this every day. You cannot be playing laying eggs like this. Jim Curran must have been frustrated. I get it. It's one game, and they're going to happen. They haven't had an L since mid mid August against Dallas. I get it, and they've been on fire since, and I get all that. However, again, there's a pattern now. There's a pattern. You playing against bad teams and not pulling the full and not going full money, not giving it all, and you have to give it all. You have to give it all. You have to play better soccer. There has to be better soccer playing than this because if this team shows up in the playoffs, eesh, 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 it's going to be in that early exit, and then everyone in the city will be frustrated with this team because this team has been talked about now. He's got on people's radars now because they've been playing so well. If you show up to the playoffs and you don't come to play, somebody like Orlando. And by the way, first of all, I want to touch on Orlando because uh, last week that's where I was at. I was down in Orlando, and I gotta give their airport cool credit because they have a Orlando SC bar, sports bar in the airport, which I think is pretty cool. I think it's pretty cool. Hey, Linda, what's going on? Linda, it's just me for right now. Austin will be joining me in a little bit. Thanks for tuning in. That's she's so cool. Uh, yeah, so like I said, I was down in Orlando, got to experience their little sports bar down there. I got to check it out a little bit jealous because I think the Union deserve one around here. But like I said, it was pretty cool to hang out. But look, I'm glad to be home. Spent enough time hanging with Mickey Mouse, and I'm here to play. See what's going on with this Union team, and maybe look. The whole Philadelphia landscape this past weekend has struggled with Atlanta. You had the Phillies struggling with the Braves. You had the Union not show up against, and you went down. I don't want to say lost, but again, a tie against Atlanta United, which we all felt like was going to probably be like a 6-0, 7-0 win to a team that's ninth ninth seeded team. What's going on? Again, that should have been on paper that should have been a 6-0 dub. You know what I mean? Not laying eggs. However, this team laid an egg horribly. Um, but like I said, well, but like I said, the viewership out there, tell me what you saw. If you saw something that should have been paying more attention to, because like I said, this team was trying to score from the outside, didn't happen. Team trying to go up the middle, didn't happen. The Atlanta had this team shut down, and what I saw Saturday night, I watched this game. They look fatigued. They look tired. They look beat, and you can't be. And look, that's no excuse. You're a professional team. You don't show up sleepy because if you do, you're out. And you can't be playing like that. Like I said, you have a goaltender who leads the league in clean sheets, and Andre Blake. You have Dan Gazak, what is third in the league with 19 goals, and now you have Wagner with his third in assists. Like those are pluses right there, right? Um, like I said, my level of concern is this team not showing up. And like I said, my chest area out over one silly tie. Yes, and you want to know why? Because this is now their 10th tie. They lead the league in ties, and we can't afford ties right now because for all you supporter Shield fans, now you are tied. Uh, no pun intended. You are now tied with LAFC for the supporter shield. Like I said, that doesn't mean nothing to me. Again, I listened to Austin and Gus last week. Uh, Debate about that a little bit. That's fine. But like I said, I want to win the MLS Cup because winning in playoffs in Philadelphia matter. Okay, this is the number one passionate Philadelphia team city, and you cannot be shown lackluster. I don't know if they did their film. I don't know if they did their homework on this team. I don't know what they did. I don't know if they went down to Atlanta and start partying in strip clubs. I don't know. But they didn't show up on Sunday or Saturday afternoon and play. That's I do know. I know that for a fact. So maybe Friday night they went out and you know hung out in some Atlanta clubs. I don't know. Maybe that's their trap down there. But I do know one thing: they didn't show up Saturday night to play because it was very lackluster. Very lackluster. You can't expect Andre Blake to bail you out every game. You can't. He can't play offense and defense. He only plays one position. That's goaltending. It's goaltending. And for this team not to show up, it's absurd. Um, Philly is here goes Linda again. Philly is behind the teams all the way. Yeah, look, I appreciate that, Linda. I appreciate you getting on board on this with this Union team. Very very cool. My dad my dad told me today that why he likes the Union team is because they got Teamster colors. Because my dad's a Teamster. I don't know what that's supposed to mean or do, but all right, Dad. So my dad's getting on board. So little by little, people are getting. I know our own Dave Arnell's getting checked in. You catch him every Saturday morning on Pass Out Fanatics. He's getting in little by little. Um, like I said, the team needs to do better. Needs to do better. You can't be laying eggs like this. You can't be uh, showing up fatigued. You can't show up fatigued for work, or you're going to pay the piper. And if it was, like I said, if it wasn't for their all-star goaltender, they would have. They would have paid the piper. And you're lucky you have someone like Andre Blake between the pipes, or else you would be out of a job. You'd be out of that first. You would have been you've been embarrassed. So, but this week it's unusual. They're seeing an unusual opponent. Hold on. Here goes Linda again. It's not just the Union teams. It's all Philadelphia teams: Eagles, Phillies, Sixers, Flyers. Philly bleeds the cause of sports. I totally agree with you, Linda. Totally agree. We all love our Philadelphia sports. We all love them. We love all of our teams here in the city. The Union add to the love. They add to the love. I call it, people call it a 4-for-4 team. I call it 5-for-5. They're 5-for-5. They're to me are they're for real. But the way they played Saturday night wasn't for real. That was lacklustered. Lacklustered. You can't play like that. You can't. How do you expect to win? How do you expect to win playing sloppy soccer? How do you expect? Again, you're lucky you played a bottom feeder team. But that's the crazy part about this team. They play down their competition and they play up to their and they uprise against higher level teams. I'm still itching my chest to bring them to me, Carly. Um, it's terrible. It's terrible. Um, like I said, I don't know what's going to happen with this Union team. Don't know. So, like I said, Saturday they're not playing anyone from the league. That's the weird part. They're playing uh, a another team. That's like I said, that's the weird part. I don't like about MLS. Uh, bring them to me. So, give me 1 second, folks. I'll be right with you. In due time, check out these brands right here. Uh, Here goes our network. Check all this out. All right. So you guys saw the schedule there. Sorry for you guys. This is Junior here. Yeah, that's our schedule for All EOP. I gave you guys a minute to take a look at it. It's great shows. A lot of these shows. Joining me is my man Dami. And look, guys, check out David R. Cherry. Please give him a jingle. Work conversation, medical vehicle accidents, personal injury, criminal law. Give David R. Cherry a call. Also, go to phillysportstrips.com. Tell them the EOP sent you. Look, this is for all the birds trips that are coming up. And for you guys to know that EOP here is having our very own, it's Philly Sports Trip is having their trip down to Charlotte, North Carolina next, not this weekend, the following weekend against their Charlotte soccer team. So go check that out. One more here. I want to show you guys this. If you guys want to come hang with us on live remote, come check us out. We will be down in South House in South Philly in 2 weeks for the Eagles versus Jaguars. So you catch like guys like Freddie Burns, myself, Mike Lara. We have a bunch of guys that are going to be down there. So, guys, like I said, this is my son Dami. He's going to hang out with me for a little bit. Uh, he travels the globe with me. But anyway, guys, like I said, like I said, major concerns about this Union team. Uh, more likely or not, they're going to bounce back. And like I said, I don't have real too much homework um, from what is it from this team that they're facing on Saturday night, or sorry, Saturday midday. Um, because to me, it's just a team that I never like I said, that's the one thing I don't like about MLS because they'll throw in these like World Cup games, like my little man going to sleep here. Um, but yeah, as like I said, they have a weird schedule coming up here. Like I said, it's not like anything else. Um, It's this Saturday, 6 o'clock. You guys don't want to miss it. Like I said, they face like a unique team. And like I said, what's it? Panchua? Am I saying? Oh, here it comes. Of course, Austin's getting ready to hop on here. He's stretched out. He's ready to go. He's done his Viagra, and he is ready to rock like Horace Christmas candy. Here it comes. Boom. What's up, Austin?
What's up, buddy? For some
So,
reason I hear anything. I don't know
yeah,
what the heck is going on with my computer all of a sudden. This has been
I did.
my day in a nutshell, but
Yeah.
I am trying to fix it. So just give me like 2 minutes. I'm so sorry.
No, don't. No, look, we all go through it. It's life. Life happens. You know what I'm saying? Life throws us a curveball. Um, like I said, yeah, I got my right hand man here, but he's dozing on me. um, so like I said, the Union though have been through some trouble. Um, Austin, you got me, or are you okay? So Austin can't hear me, so I'm gonna let him get situated. So he'll give me a thumbs up when he's ready. Um, Sorry for the difficulty, folks. Um, Come on, little guy. But like I said, this Union team, back to this Union team, going against it, like for me, it's an unfamiliarity people matchup here. The Union are going to face a team that, like I said, I never seen them before. They come back though in 2 weeks. They will be down in Charlotte. So, like I said, for everybody who wants to hop down on the bus or hop down with the Philly Sports Trip guys because they're going to be heading out to Charlotte for that game, go give those guys, give them reach, they'll hook you up. But like I said, that's like I said, we all know Charlotte is a bomb feeder team. But like I said, they're not facing a a team in the whole MLS. They're facing like a world team. So which is like kind of unique to me. So, but like I said, you gotta check them out because we gotta see if this team's gonna wake up or not. And you need this team to wake up because playoff. You only got 2 games after this left, only two, and you need to show up big time. You need to show up. You need to come hungry. So again, we'll see what this Union team is made of because, like I said, playoffs is right around the corner, right, Dom? So and Dominic knows it. I know it. This playoffs is just around the corner. We're not that far away. But like I said, and I keep on alluding to about Saturday because I was totally frustrated what I've seen Saturday. Totally. because that didn't look like a number one seeded team. It didn't. Not in my eyes. Not in a lot of people's eyes, right? Even Dominic said not in his eyes. He don't even want to watch them. And poor Dominic here doesn't want to watch a Union. That's pretty bad. Um, so here goes my man Austin. Let's see if Austin's ready. Austin's not there. So again, he froze. We'll see what this Union team is made of. But they're not. They got to show up because you cannot be playing soccer this way. You can't. You can't be showing up. You can't be playing soccer this sloppy. You have to show better than this. Like I said, going against ATL, like I said, you couldn't score on the outside, you couldn't score on the inside. They shut you down. They played a solid defense game. They came to play. Luckily for the Union, and I alluded to this earlier, you had a team that came to play. You did have a team that come to play. I mean, you had the only thing for Union, you had that Andre Blake. He was the only player that came to play. Unfortunately, Andre Blake can only play one position. He can only be at one spot on the field, and he dominates between the pipes. I wish I'm telling you, I want to go through a screen and help the guy because I felt like I could have played, and I'm 195 sloppy turd. But anyway, it's a shame. It's a shame that this Union team didn't come to play, man. It's a shame. You lower my expectations of this is what I'm going to get in the playoffs. I hope that's not the case. I hope that's not the case at all. I hope I better see a better game offensively, defensively. Jim Curran is a kind of coach that doesn't take, sloppiness. He doesn't take sloppiness. He doesn't like it. You cannot be playing sloppy in the MLS playoffs. You can't. You do that, you're going to get banged on. And I think you might see what Orlando the first game, or somebody again. Don't show up. You better show up in playoff terms, or they're going to eat you up, dude. They're going to eat you up. They're going to make you a lunch. And I'm telling you right now, Union guys, get it together. Get it together. Come to play. Come to play. Bring some integrity. Bring some intensity. Because I didn't see any of that on Saturday. I didn't see no intensity whatsoever from the soccer team. You want to just come up here and lay eggs. You want, like I said, playing with fatigue is unacceptable. Unacceptable for this Union team to show with nothing. And you can't do that. So like I said, those guys to me are really twisting my leg here because, like I said, they've been playing hot soccer for a long time, and like I said, maybe it was just Philadelphia in general not showing up. You had the Phillies not showing up in Atlanta versus the Braves. You had, and again, now you have the Philadelphia Union. Like I said, it's not a loss. So that's probably about your only positivity thing that came out of this. That's not a loss that you had your goaltender, but you can't have your goaltender screaming at your players. You can't have them screaming at, telling these guys what to do and all this stuff. They sure know their job. And I would love to have been a fly on the wall for Jim Curtin's locker room speech. He'd probably chewed them up. He'd probably spit them out. You need to play better. You know what I mean? If I showed up to work sloppy and tired, guess what? They're going to tell me to go home. You know what I mean? Get my head together. Get my head out of my butt. Okay? And that's what this team needs to play. Get your head out of your butt. And look, I don't care. Well, they're the number one seeded team. Take it easy. No, it doesn't matter. You come to play to win. That's it. That's it. You're a professional team. You come play to win. You don't come play just for a paycheck and you want to take the day off. Heck no. You come play the sport. Show up. Your wingers, your captain, your defenseman need to all show up on a team. You can't just have your goaltender be the only one to show up. You know what I mean? Because the stats, they don't mean jack to me. You have the most goals in the league. You have the most assists in the league. It means nothing to me if you don't show up. Again, so I think you could lose this game because this game doesn't matter because it's not part of MLS regulations. But you better show up against Charlotte. They're a low level team. They're a bottom feeder team. It scares the daylights. I mean, what Union team's going to show up now? And they'll probably take the belt off and spank this team, but they better show up against, or because you only got two more games after that. You got to go on the road to Charlotte, and then you have to come back here to face Toronto. Toronto, and that should be W's out the wazoo. Two major W's at the wazoo. Take them, rack them up. That's it. That's all you should do is take them and rack them up. And like I said, I know I've been talking about the Saturday game from this past, but like, what did you guys see? Here comes Austin. Uh, he's got his Triple H face on. He's got the beard, combed down. Let's see if he is ready to go.
Hello. Can you hear me?
Yes.
Okay.
I can hear
I can faintly hear you because my computer decided to crash completely blue screen, so I have to start that whole thing over. Long explanation. Nice. I can talk about it more in the game stream because I feel like that's where more of the rigmarole is. But yes, I was listening to some of the things that you were saying. The Atlanta match, I feel, says more about the adjustments that Atlanta has made over the last month and a half than it does about the Union. They definitely played a lot tighter than they did the last time we played them. Granted, it was also during that quick rush of just us just plowing through everyone that stepped in front of us on the pitch. But like, I can see what you mean by it being like a mildly disheartening match. Because of what we were used to seeing.
I'm going to put this little guy to sleep, but continue talking. I'm going to listen to you as I put this little guy to bed.
Yeah, go for it, man. It definitely said more about what Atlanta has done. Wrong person. It definitely has said more about what Atlanta has done overall. I apologize. I'm on my phone, so you get to see my kitchen back here because the normal camera over there, for some reason, my computer's being weird. But yeah, it said more about how Atlanta has adjusted to the negative play that they have had over the course of the season, the turnaround that they've made in the last few months. Am I bothered by the fact that the Union didn't win? A little bit, because we just played them a month ago. The last time they lost a match was against us. So it definitely sucks to see. Sorry if I'm like bobbling and stuff. I'm trying to. I have a stand that my phone is on, and it's just nothing is agreeing with me today. Nothing is working out the way I want it to, and I feel like I'm going to make people seasick. Yeah, like I mean, the play was consistent. Atlanta just really clamped down on the back half and was really able to limit a lot of the options that Philadelphia normally has in terms of being able to see consistent success on the pitch. So, I mean, hats off to them. They did an amazing job. Philadelphia definitely has some stuff they have to, step back onto the training ground and work on. And I feel like we get a bit of a break because of the fact that we have the friendly. Now, this is where I'm going to disagree with Pat. He is not a fan of having these random friendly matches throughout the season. This team that we're playing against is the Mexican League champions. So, I mean, I feel like if we can beat them, like we're already in, I think it was a Champions League, the CONCACAF Champions League, because there's a thing that happens with all the soccer clubs on this side of the world. We're already in that, so I feel like this is a good place to see where we stack up against one of the better teams on our side of the world. Is it a bit of a minor inconvenience to have it in the middle of your regular season? Maybe, but it's the same way that every single club right now in the world does all of their stuff. All of their friendlies happen during their regular season play. Another one, Gus and I discussed this pretty extensively last week, the importance of the Super Shield comparatively to MLS Cup. It's tougher to really, say that the Supporter Shield doesn't truly matter, because if you look at anywhere else in the world, the team that wins the league wins the league. Like, there's no extra postseason thing that happens to determine if they're actually the best team, because it's not necessary, I can see where Pat's coming from with it, where like it doesn't make a lot of sense to him, but if you really look at it on the scheme of the playoffs are more of an Americanized thing than anywhere else in the world, because we're the only place in the world where a playoff format happens after a full league season. Like you look at any other sport aside from soccer, like that isn't played here as consistently as it is elsewhere. So like cricket, there's a league champion and that's it. And then they do like major tournaments for like different parts of Europe and whatnot, just like you see with soccer. So I mean, I don't mind that there are a few friendlies throughout the season, that there are other cup matches, because if you're trying to stay true to what the sport is in terms of how it's played essentially thematically throughout the season, then you're going to have these kinds of matches pop up in between. Like you look at a team like the team that I root for in the English Premier League, Manchester United. You look at their schedule, aside from their regular schedule, they have the UEFA Champions League. So like they're playing through, technically, if you want to be 100% serious about it, they're technically playing through essentially a World Cup and their regular league season at the same time. Like it's just a full-blown extra tournament of like, these are the best in this part of the world. Let's have them all play each other in a tournament style format to determine who the best on this side of the globe is. So like if you wanted to, I mean, you could definitely use just your league championships as a way to be like, this team's the best. But to be able to stack them up against other teams from your hemisphere and to be able to say Philadelphia Union go in next season into the Champions League and win it. That would literally be our team's way of saying, hey, not only are we the best in our league, we're the best on our side of the globe. And with the attention that this team is getting, I feel like we're already technically considered that if you really look at it. A few fun little tidbits. They did a ranking of players over 35 in the MLS, and number one on that list is Philadelphia Union's Alejandro Bedoya. So it's a pretty cool thing that I just wanted to bring up. Gus and I, I'm starting to lose a lot of faith in him, but to see that the rest of the league is like, hey, he's definitely one of the better older guys out there. I feel like for me personally, it's a bit of a plus for a guy who has been sort of, I feel like he's been having a bit of a resurgence this year, more as the vocal leader of the team than he is as an actual player. Yeah, overall, that Atlanta game was a blip in the radar for the tail end of the season. Not, I think, 3 matches left now after even after this this friendly with Pacheco. I don't know. I mean, we still technically hold our destiny in our hand with where we stand in terms of the league. We're still ahead of LAFC, to be 100% honest with you, Pat. We're still ahead of LAFC right now. I feel like getting this week off of league play is going to help pull a lot of stress off of these guys, sort of like fix the wear and tear. Like Andre Blake was playing with a bit of a bum shoulder during that Atlanta match. So you'll see this team come back out refreshed coming into the last 3 matches of the season, and we really needed that. Because I remember what I said about 2 months ago. It's going to come down to the last 3 matches of the season to determine if we hoist that supporter shield, and it literally is right now. The last 3 matches we hold, we're basically in the driver's seat. It just depends on, do we want to pull over and let someone else drive, or do we stomp on the gas?
Listen, like you said, I was listening to you as I was putting my kids down. First of all, like you said, you were mentioning about this team from Mexico that we're going to face on Saturday. And
Yes.
the only problem is, like I said, you said, to me, it shouldn't matter to me because it's not MLS regulation matters, because whether you win or lose, it doesn't do anything for the MLS, right?
True, but like I said, it's a way because you're going into the Champions League next season, playing against the best of the best from our hemisphere. It's going to be a way to see how you really stack up against the team that's considered the best in their league. Sorry, I decided to rig a thing so that it doesn't seem like I'm on a boat anymore.
There you go. Okay.
So I have like a little. You've probably seen it a few times when we've been doing the show now that I'm in this new setup, because I have a like
Yeah.
desk in my corner now. I have a little mount for my phone here that I usually put up so I can see the comments. So I don't get them on the sidebar sometimes when I'm on my computer doing the streams.
Mm-hmm.
So because my computer's not working, I have my phone up on there. My old headphones, I had earbuds. Spoilers, they broke. I ran them over with my computer chair. Rest
Oh,
in
nice.
peace to my headphones. So we're back to the old ones. If you happen to hear this at all, those are the speakers in the ears of my headphones that have knocked loose over the years of wear and tear of me using these things. So if you do happen to hear it, my apologies. This is haphazard setup for me right now because of the issue that I had trying to get in on time. But yeah, I do want to touch back on a comment that you made a little bit earlier, Pat. If this were anywhere else in the world, there would not be an MLS Cup. It would be the Supporter Shield, and that's it. The Supporter Shield would be the MLS Cup. So I mean, it's just more I feel like the states had to Americanize the sport so that way they could get more viewership out of it by having the playoffs. But like there was a point where like with like they changed everything about soccer when MLS first came around. Like penalty kicks were not just put the ball on the spot, man goes, kicks ball, goalie tries stop ball. It was literally you got the ball like halfway between the midline and the start of the box, and you would just run in like hockey style penalty shot. The goalie could come out and just take you out at the knees and get and secure that ball. So like they did a lot of things to try and make it sort of stand out from soccer across the rest of the world. And then they were like, shit, this isn't going to work. Like people don't like this. Like it's not true to the sport. So they got rid of that. And I feel like it's only a matter of time. Like I don't want to give a timetable, but I do feel like it's eventually going to get to the point where like the figureheads at MLS are going to be like, well, this isn't working anymore. Like we need to figure out another way to, sort of get people more involved, and it may be eliminating playoffs altogether.
Right. And like I said, to piggyback everything you're saying, first of all, I want to, like I said, I know I was trying to cover it all real fast. I would like to get what did you see Saturday? Because like I said, for me, I saw a team that looked fatigued. It looked like they didn't have the aggressiveness that I've seen in previous games and previous matchups. I don't know. I didn't know if they were partying the night before in Atlanta. What did you see from this Atlanta and Union game from Saturday?
From Atlanta, I definitely saw a team that learned how to tighten up on the back half because we abused them in that final third more often than they would have liked to have had happen. So I feel like you definitely saw even just over the course of like 3.5, 4 weeks, the amount of improvement that Atlanta has really put in, not only just on the pitch, but like as a unit off the pitch, like how they sort of stand by each other. You saw them really rally together after the whole thing with Joseph Martinez happened. And even during the whole thing of like, they weren't playing him as much after that. Like, even before that, like they were going to other options first before who is essentially supposed to be their number 10 in Joseph Martinez. So you saw a lot of dissension, a lot of, apparently there was like a whole like catering table was flipped. And like this guy was really upset, like his playing time was being taken away. And he basically, like after that suspension, showed like, hey, I can still play. You just have to play me. And the team sort of rallied around the fact of like he's not here right now. Let's just do our thing. And they really have rallied themselves together. They'll definitely be if they can maintain the roster that they have right now and maintain the flow of what they're trying to do, they could definitely be a playoff team next year. It's this Atlanta side is a team that is. I don't want to say they're going through a rebuild because that would be saying less of what they're capable of. They're definitely a team that is trying to retool and reconfigure and find out what works best for them going forward as a whole unit. On the other hand, like you said, I 100% agree with it. Philadelphia definitely looked very tired. the runs weren't as strong as they could have been. There were solid opportunities. Like, don't get me wrong, a ton of solid opportunities
Yeah.
for the Philadelphia Union side, but just not what we essentially got kind of spoiled by in the last like 2 months of just seeing them just at will just tear teams apart. And I feel like it's better to have going into this quick friendly match this week, basically having essentially an off week. It'll be a good chance for the guys to sort of, take like another extra day and sort of just, let themselves sort of reset mentally and come right back into league play with that focus again, and probably be able to just tear teams apart.
Yeah, and you mentioned about they had opportunities. Yes, they did. In the early going, that this team had good looks. They had very opportune looks, but again, Atlanta has been playing better defensively. They've looked sharper. And look, like I said, it would just look like a team that was tired. Like I said, I just don't like when I see Andre Blake has to yell at the team, "Yo, get your head out of your butts. Let's go." Like, he's the team captain here, and that's his job. I mean, he's got to make sure these dudes are playing with their heads on their shoulders, and they're not. They said it. Luckily, again, this is a tie, but you and I are tired of seeing the ties. No pun intended. This is their 10th one. You can't be showing that kind of you can't be laying an egg every 3 games or every 4 games. You can't be playing red hot stop. And like you said, they Americanized the MLS because playoffs. We love playoffs in there, especially in this town. So, and like I said earlier, I don't know if it was just the city in general making a trip to Atlanta because the Phillies stunk it up in Atlanta themselves. They got swept. We come down in here and we just tied. So like I said, maybe they all went to the world famous aquarium down there. I don't know. I don't know. I don't know. Maybe they went to go see the Penguins or something. I don't know.
Apparently Mercedes-Benz Stadium has that effect on some teams, especially ones that tend to play there on a regular basis most of the time.
Yeah, the dome will get you. The Georgia dome will get you. So, but listen, like I said, they're going to face a team. We'll see if they're ready for next year for the bigger stages. But like I said, they only got 2 weeks after that. They only got 2 more weeks, 2 more games after that. They got to go down to Charlotte. They have to continue this road trip in Charlotte. How do you? They got to get ready for that. Then they got to play
Toronto
at home.
I feel like these are 2 games you definitely can't rest on your laurels with. As low as both teams are in their positioning, they would love to play spoiler and to be able to play it against a team that has a chance at their second supporter shield in 3 years. This is prime pickings for teams like Charlotte and Toronto. Toronto, though, I'll touch on them in a minute. Charlotte is a team that I've been noticing this year, like just in terms of them getting themselves like used to being in MLS. They're very, I guess you could say, lackadaisical in their attack and their midfield play. So it's definitely a team that's going to need some fine tuning over the next couple of years. All in all, though, I like the improvements that I have seen during the season. They've definitely made some good strides. They're showing that they can play with the caliber of teams that are in this league, and it's just with the positioning of both of these teams, you cannot think that it's going to be an easy match, especially going to their stadiums to play these last 2 matches. Finishing out the season on the road. So it's gonna be you want to have the same approach that you've had over the past 2 months. You want to be very tight in the midfield. You want to be very strong on the back line. The attack, the crosses have been really good even during that Atlanta match. The ball getting into the middle has been very solid. Like I said, having guys like Wagner and Bizo and Harriel on the opposite side, Leon Flock being able to add into that as well. Those guys have been doing really good with their service, getting the ball in for offensive opportunities. So, you just want to, just maintain the same pressure that you have throughout the past few months and just give a full 90 minutes and just wear the other guys out. You're in the final push, and literally at this point, if you can win these next two and keep ground on LAFC, it's going to make them have to win to even have a chance at being the Supporter Shield winner. So it's one of those things. Like I said, like I keep reiterating, you just want to maintain that constant pressure, and it's what we're best at. And then going into Toronto, that's a team that we saw at the beginning of the year actually have almost as equally as strong a start as Philadelphia Union did, and they took the same road that we did, where they started to level off and like play a bit more mediocre, and then where Philadelphia turned it up, it all just shut off for Toronto. They plummeted fast, and the talent that they have, it is unprecedented to see this kind of a team play the way they've played and have the results they've had over the past since like match week 10. It's been really rough to watch Toronto if you're a fan of them.
Yeah, and so here goes Paul Spencer. You can check him out on the Outbox Sports Network. He does a show. He does UFC 215 with Joey Woods on Tuesdays at 10 p.m. and Wednesdays with my man Matty Klein. The Tower of Power. You check him out Wednesdays at 9:30. He goes, "Don't watch soccer only if there's money on it, but which is rarely never. But what's up? Maybe we get Charlotte versus Union. Any input on the line? I don't know if they gambled on MLS. I'm pretty sure they do.
I unfortunately have not seen what the line is for the match, but if you just want to try and do if they do have like a goals spread, I would probably take the under. Charlotte is still learning how things play here in MLS, and Philadelphia is coming off of essentially a really well thought out 1 point. So it's going to be tough to really say that either team is going to really dominate this match. Both teams are looking to essentially rebound from where they have been in the past couple weeks, and it's going to be tough. I mean, I would take the under on the goal line if they have it. But honestly, I wouldn't quote me on it. I wouldn't come back here next week and be like, dude, you messed up big time, bro. Like, hey, you listen to a guy who occasionally is, dude, I'm like a broken clock. I'm right twice a day. Like, I wouldn't take my advice on gambling, because the way I did well on gambling was Korean baseball and Aussie rules football. When there were no sports here, the second they came back, tanked.
He said, yes, they do big time, but yes, goals under 2, under 3. Line goals is 3.
Goal line is 3. I'd go under. Go under, because at best this is probably going to be maybe a 1-0, 2-0 win, because it's just, like I said, Union are trying to bounce back from a 0-0 draw against Atlanta. Charlotte, I did not get a chance to check their previous 2, but they're probably coming off of a pretty even skid, if anything. I want to say it was, I think, a draw and a loss in their last 2. I could be wrong on that. I'm not 100% certain. Like I said, I hadn't checked. I had to deal with a bunch of stuff during the day, so I didn't get to do a lot of my research. But
okay, Austin betting my house.
So, sorry, dude. I may have a couch for you to sleep on if the bet goes bad at best. But yeah, I mean, just don't expect this to be another woodshedding. I'm gonna say that now.
No, absolutely not. They, like I said, if they play lackluster one game, they come out fire punching the next. So, like I said, I looked at this game though. I've been trying to study why they struggle in Atlanta. Like I said, it's a tale of both. You got one team that played with fatigue and tired, and you had another team come off a 2-game winning streak. They did beat Orlando. And who they just beat prior to that? They beat Orlando in some. They actually smoked them 4-2. They just won there too, and they won at their house. So maybe they're playing with a little. They're getting hot at the wrong time because they're completely out. I believe out of the whole point system itself. Like I said, that to me is okay. So they played They played Toronto. They spanked Toronto 4-2 at home. So then Yeah, so they spent for Toronto, then they played Orlando. So like I said, it was they've been playing red hot soccer, like I said, at the wrong time because I don't think they're going to be able to get in the doorstep now. But look, maybe they'll find out.
Charlotte's last three were a 2-0 loss to Cincinnati, a 1-0 win over NYCFC, who doesn't matter. NYCFC ain't the same team they were at the beginning of the year, and a 3-2 win over Chicago. So they're 2-1-0 in their last
Oh,
three.
that's Charlotte. I saw Charlotte, but that I was referencing to the Atlanta.
Atlanta, yeah,
Yeah,
coming off of the wins that they had the momentum going into that match for
right.
sure.
So,
Um, it
but
was definitely I definitely expected Philadelphia to be able to really crack that the defenses be able to open up again like they did before, but Atlanta figured something out and they're starting to see some dividends paying off for the work that they've put in throughout the season for sure.
right. So, they're a 9 seed team. I only said I don't think they're going to be able to get into the door, but look, like you said, maybe they'll figure some pieces out for next year that they're going to blossom into. They could be a dangerous team.
Yeah.
But I do want to touch on this though. I did tell the people when I was down in Orlando at their airport, they do have a Union SC sports bar. You got the big line on, right in the food court.
Neat.
Like once you get through security and all that, like they have right in the big Orlando food court and all that stuff. They have
Oh wow,
they have the line and all that stuff right in the middle of the airport. So it's pretty dope to go check out.
that is really
And was
cool.
Yeah, so I got to check that out when I was in there uh, last week. But anyways, screw Orlando screw Orlando SC because I saw a lot of their junk. I saw the pictures, I saw stickers everywhere. It was making me sick. Okay, but I did get to meet some cool Union people from across the country. If my man Keaton is watching the show, because I did tell him to watch us out from Wednesday, check those out on YouTube. From Arizona, he's a big time Union head. So yeah, he got to check us. Hopefully he got to check us out tonight. It was pretty cool, man. Got to meet some Union heads from all over the country. So
That's awesome, man.
which was really dope. Um, I got to meet at Buffalo. A guy who lives in Buffalo loves all Philadelphia sports teams. So I told him to check
Hey,
us out. Yeah, that's pretty dope. Um, so like I said, man. But back to this at hand. So. What, give me more about what they're about to face because I don't know anything about this team that's from Mexico. I don't know anything about them. I don't know. You say it's a test that's coming up here.
the
Tell-
only thing I truly know about Pacheco is that they are the past league season's champion in Liga
Mhm.
MX. So that's why I was saying I feel like it would be a good test to see where we stack up because this is the best team from Mexico coming through and playing us here at home. So I
Yeah.
mean, it could because of the fact that I'm pretty sure we're in the Champions League next year. Let me check. I do believe we are in the CONCACAF Champions League.
Yeah, I mean the Union have beat up pretty much anyone in their path. So I mean I know they're in the playoffs.
We have a berth into it for the second time in club history. It was announced 5 days ago.
Wow.
So yeah, this is where we'll play against a bunch of teams like that, like them, like we had saw what was that last season where we played like Cruz Azul and a
Mhm.
couple of the other Mexican clubs. Like it's going to be a lot of that. Like we'll play against a lot of the like the Canadian League teams, the Mexican League teams.
Right.
So like, it's literally for our half of the globe. It's almost like the same thing that you would see for the UEFA Champions League or the FA Cup in England and in Europe, where like all the teams from the continent play in a cup tournament aside from their regular league season to determine essentially I guess you could say a grand champion essentially for
Mhm.
the continent itself. So I feel like this will be a really good opportunity for Philadelphia to see where they stack up again against these kinds of teams throughout the rest of our side of the world.
Right, and it's like I said, it's gonna be unique to check out, seeing all that stuff. Like I said, this is my first time looking at it. You know what I mean? Like I said, I came onto the show early. I think this is a waste of time. Yeah, yeah, yeah. But you opened my eyes to go check this out. Now, okay, now they're playing against higher competition. It's you're testing yourself. So hey, listen, heavy competition is always good. It's always good to see where your team stays. So like I said, I do want to see them. Then, like I said, then we'll bounce back from this. We'll see them go against Orlando in the final week. So we're breaking down week by week of what's going on here with the EOP and Devereaux Sports. But like I said, man, I just don't want to see what I saw this past weekend. I just saw
Of course,
lackluster.
yeah, that's not something that you really want to see, especially with a team that's riding momentum the way that we were going into that match. But every once in a while, a draw isn't as bad as it could be. Although you look, like you said, you look at the state, you look at the records, and we have 10 of them.
Yeah,
And again, it's just a point that I keep making. You turn half of those into wins instead of them being 5 points. It's 15. You triple the points. Like that's a very large gap where we would have probably at the start of this month would have already clinched the Supporters Shield if you really think about it.
Look, and listen, and I get it. Atlanta's coming off a 2-game winning streak. I get all that. And listen, they're playing with momentum as well. And I'm glad that Union can just shell them down to a draw of nothing. Didn't allow them to get on the board, and they threw everything but the kitchen sink at you. But for us, we have to play better than that. We can't be laying eggs, especially at this time of year. You know what I mean? We cannot be going there and going to sleep. This is the wrong time to do it. You have to play better. You have to get back to the drawing board. You have to come out swinging for your next game. Now,
definitely,
this coming up here, like I said, against Mexico, it's going to be a tough task. But like I said, a win or loss is not going to mean nothing because they're not a team that's part of it with MLS regulations.
Exactly.
So, you want to play your best soccer, but like I said, at the same time, it's not going to hurt you as far as standings. But like I said, we're looking at a guy. So we're right now down. Gazak is third in the league in goals. You have Wagner is third with assists with 15. You have Andre Blake who leads the league clean sheets, 14 clean sheets now for Andre Blake. So all signs pointing up. This team should be more hungry, more thirsty. Again, when they get done facing Mexico, they should continue their road trip against Charlotte. Head down there. Hopefully, we get involved with Philly Sports Trips. Hook us up, or whatever we gotta do to get involved with Philly Sports Trips.
Even if you and I can't go, if you out there, if you got a chance to go on this trip, do it.
Do it, man.
I personally have never traveled with the Union. All my matches have been at what used to be Subaru Park. Now, back when I went, it used to be known as PPL. And I can only imagine, because Charlotte is it's Nashville. But Charlotte has a very large stadium they are using right now for their soccer matches. And I can only imagine what that experience would be like going into, it's almost like before PPL Park was completed being built, Philadelphia had their first home match at Lincoln Financial Field. So I can only imagine it's probably going to be like the same style atmosphere where it's like this genuine, regular old American football stadium being used for the other football. And I can only imagine just how electrifying that place is going to be, even with just the one corner of Union fans in that whole place.
Yeah, well, usually Philly Sports Trips usually riles up some people. They're going to bring some people down and go check this bad boy out. It's going to be a nice, fun time. So, guys, if you're out there checking out, speaking of, real fast, let's get to some of the sponsors here. Once again, we're going to go with, there. There you go.
Boom. There it is.
There it is. So hit up my man, David Archerry, work compensation, motor vehicle accidents, personal injury, criminal law. Hit up David Archerry at 610-565-0300. Give him a jingle. Man, he'll love to help you out. And plus, Philly Sports Trips. We just talked about their trip down to Charlotte for you Union fans, but for you Philadelphia Eagle fans, listen, this Washington trip is just sold out. But if you want to go to tailgate, if you're down in the area, you want to go tailgate with those guys, you get yourself a ticket and hang out there. The growing part. Look, they're going to Arizona, Houston, Indianapolis, New York, Chicago, Dallas. They got everything that you want. And plus, 2 weeks from now, the EOP family will be down at South House. I might have to go check that out. 2535 13th Street, Philadelphia, 1948. Give it a go. Check us out. It's starting at 11 a.m. You can check out the EOP family mixing in, talking some. We're gonna be a lot remote, and also here goes the whole entire network entirely. So for Thursdays, keep your eyes for Birds IQ with our man Vinny Quinn. And you got the Round Mound talking Phillies, and then you got the attacking third, which is us, and then of course Matty B. Right after this game, we'll be chatting up with some Phillies. Might have to hang out with that guy. He's a good dude. But look, guys, that's it for the show. You have me, you have Austin. Austin, thank you for coming on. Till
Shout
next
outs to
week.
Gus in Peru.
Yeah, Gus is right now enjoying his family in Peru, so when he's out, I'm in. So anyway, guys,
A
we'll
solid
be
sub. I'll take it. Coach made a good call.
back. So in about 45 minutes, you and I will be doing this on our video game. So guys, if you love video
Yeah.
games, we're gonna
If
be talking.
if you're a fan of Call of Duty Vanguard, I will spend the next 45 minutes reading a lot about it so that I can talk as much as I can about the game.
Yeah. So again, you guys are Call of Duty fans. Hit us up in 45 minutes on Dead Red Sports page, and we'll be talking some Call of Duty with you. All right, guys, have a good one. We'll see you next week.